soaking times for willow may change between different varieties and different temperatures, and if you ask different people, they're likely to say different things. So these will be general guidelines, but the best thing to do is to first to ask your supplier, and second to try for yourself and see the results. The general guideline for buff and white willow would be 30 minutes per foot. So 3 feet willows will need an hour and a half. 4 foots, 2 hours. And now I've actually found that for my willows, 40 minutes per foot actually gives me better results. Some people will say to soak less than 30 minutes per foot. Just ask your supplier, they'll tell you the best. For brown and steamed willow, 1 day per foot is the rule of thumb. So 3 foot willows will mean 3 days. But also some people say 2 days per foot gives them better results. Different varieties might require different soaking times, different temperatures might require different soaking times, but that is the rule of thumb. Now green willow, which is fresh willow, does not need to be soaked, but it does need to be dried. If you just gather it and work right away, your basket is going to get ruined as the willow shrinks and dries and shrinks, and spaces are opened up in the weave. So it needs to be dried. I don't know how long it needs to be dried. You need to find the perfect time, or I would say the optimal time after gathering to work with your willows. For local materials that I gather, I usually wait between 3 to 5 days. I would say depends on the type of branches. But I think green willow needs more drying time than this. After we've soaked our willows, we need to mellow them. What does that mean? It means we're wrapping them in a wet cloth. Some say cotton is the best for this. I usually use a wet towel, and then wrap it in a nylon sheet and leave it to mellow, usually overnight. This would be the rule of thumb, but this can also change. I mean, some would say that buff willow may require only a few hours, but overnight is, if possible, is always best. Now also, I would say that the shorter buff willow rods might not necessarily require mellowing. You can just get them out of the soaking tank and work immediately, and it might work well for the shorter rods. But once we're talking about 4 foots and above, mellowing is very, very crucial. For brown and steamed, some would say that more than 1 day gives better results. So ask your supplier, experiment for yourself. While you're working with your willows, it's very important to keep them wet at all times, which means to keep them wrapped in a sheet, or either a cloth or a nylon sheet. When you're working on your project, make sure to spray it from time to time, depending of course on the temperature and the wind situation outside. But once again, the basic rule of thumb will be to always keep your willows moist and not let it dry as you're working. And after you're working, dry your work and your willows quickly. Get your basket out in the sun, in the wind, let it dry quickly so that no mold will develop on it, and same goes for the leftover willow rods that you have. Now, we're talking about second and third soakings. With buff willow, it's really not a problem. You can soak it over and over again. It's fine. It reacts good to this. But with brown and steamed willow, second and third soakings might be a bit problematic. So with these types, you want to have less leftover materials that might not be as good at the second soaking or third soaking.